Hi, I think this is going to be my last video for this class, and I've been asked to do a little bit of a refresher of what the licensing requirements are in early childhood education centers. So in no particular order, I'm simply going to give you kind of a running list. So when we start off the day, the sign-in sheets. So why is it so important that we chase down those parents and make sure that they've signed into the child care center? And the reason for that is because should something happen, for example, if a child needs to have transportation to the hospital or a medication needs to be given, and even though we have those medical forms signed, people can sue for anything. So what happens is during that process of signing a child into child care, the parent is actually transferring responsibility from the parent to the teacher or to the school. The legal term for that is in loco parentis, in the absence of the parents. Even if a parent has signed a child in every single day for 9 months, and on the day something happens, the child has not been signed in, then technically you don't have permission to have responsibility for that child. And even if you save that child's life, we are in a very litigious society right now, especially in the state of California, and those parents can still sue and win because the child was not signed into your care, and as a result, you didn't have responsibility. Same thing with signing out procedures. You've got to make sure that the minute the parents show up, they are signed out, because if they are not signed out yet and the child falls or trips and hurts themselves, then technically you are still responsible because they have not been signed out yet, even though the parents are present. So make sure that you transfer that responsibility accordingly with the sign in and sign out. Really important that it's a full signature and the time. Because again, if the time isn't there, it can be argued that the child was signed in after or before, whatever happens. As for ratios, generally speaking, a teacher needs to have those 12 core units to be legally allowed to be left alone with a child. For that reason, I don't advocate really hiring anybody unless they have those 12 units, or making sure that as soon as you do hire somebody that they are continuously enrolled in classes until they get those 12 units done. Those 12 units are basic child growth and development, introduction to teaching young children, homeschool community, and any curriculum in early childhood class. An early childhood class is one whose definition is that 75% or more of the course covers children birth through 8 years old. So if it's an elementary school class, it doesn't count. And then anybody who's got 12 units or more can be left alone with a maximum of 12 children, or one teacher and an assistant who doesn't yet have those 12 units but has, let's say, 6, can be left alone with 15 children. As soon as you have 16 kids, though, boy, you need another fully qualified teacher. So numbers in the class are also important. However, when the children are napping, it's not a teacher-to-child ratio, it's an adult-to-child ratio. Always make sure that you take your 10-minute break within 4 hours of work and a half-hour unpaid lunch by the end of your 5th hour of work. Fevers. So the rule about fevers, both for teachers and for children, is that you cannot return to the child care center until you have been fever-free without fever-reducing medication for 24 hours. So if a teacher called in sick on Monday morning that I've got a fever, they cannot come to work on Tuesday because they've already been out, and it's not going to be 24 hours. Square footage, you need 35 square feet of usable space indoors and 75 square feet of usable space outdoors. Usable space means that there's not any non-movable furniture. So for example, if a room is 10 by 10, but 2 by 2 is taken up by a non-movable cabinet, then that is not usable space. You have to measure around it. Bathrooms, for example, 2 and 3-year-olds have to always be under visual supervision of teachers when going to the bathroom. That doesn't mean you have to go into the stall with them, but you have to be in the bathroom with them. 4 and 5-year-olds have to have a teacher who knows where they are. So the teachers don't have to necessarily go in the bathroom with them, but the teachers do need to have visual line of sight to where the bathroom is. In terms of going to the bathroom and any other time you need hand washing, such as wiping a child's nose, taking care of any body fluids, cleaning a table, using the bathroom, You do have to wash your hands, and then universal precautions and licensing mandate that you shut off the water faucets with paper towels. For that reason, I have now switched all of my faucets to automatic, so you don't need to turn them off. They turn off automatically. I still remember that one faucet that we didn't change, and I could hear the water running all the time out of my office because the children were so used to the automatic ones that they would always leave it running thinking it was going to turn off on its own. Any poisons, anything that can be poisonous needs to be in a locked cabinet, not just up high, but in a locked cabinet at all times. That includes anything like Ajax, Windex, Simple Green, any kinds of cleansers, etc. You should anybody who works in your child care center should have taken the online integrated pest management training and have that certificate in file. Speaking of videos, you should all have completed the mandated reporter training as well online, and those certificates should be in your file. You should also all have completed CPR training. Those certificates should be in your file, which, by the way, I have a company, cprbytamar.com. If you ever need a CPR instructor, call me. I'm pretty cheap too, but it's fun. Food handling, make sure you're always wearing gloves. Make sure that there's no cross-contamination, especially with allergens. And again, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. That's about all I can think of for now, but if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, 310-980-8629.